Turn my radio down. I gotta turn my radio down. Hi! Happy New Year. Okay. It is now the space age date of 2023. I don't know. It could be 3023. What the hell do we know anyway? Hi! So, this is my refined look. You like it? Huh? Yeah. Things I do to amuse myself. Okay. Howdy. How are you? How's things? What's new? I've been working a lot, but now it's time to get back to work on the project that I had going. I had laid it all out in advance of the holidays, and I have taken the holidays off. And I feel that was really healthy and important. So, yay me! So, yeah, I'm plugging away on the next project and trying to think of, here's what I'm laid out. Here's what I have to put down in a finished panel now. So, curious how everybody's doing that usually tunes into this madness. And all you new folks. We got a new name for the show this year. We've switched from no one wants to listen to my podcast to everyone wants to listen to my podcast. So, a little positive energy there, folks. And I don't mean to talk out of turn, but that's some feel good energy right there. So, and in the spirit of feel good energy, I've opened the floor for debate. Is there any celebrities you want to reflect on that they're still around putting out terrible projects? When I say celebrities, I'm not talking about real celebrities like Sabine Hassenfelder or people like that. I'm talking, and if you don't know who Sabine Hassenfelder is, look her up. I'm talking about celebrities like pretty much anybody that lives along the coastline of California involved in any sort of music or music or television or film industry. Those aren't celebrities. We need to celebrate real accomplishments here. So, I think that when we were in the lockdown period, we just got a little bit too inundated with paying attention to what stupid people are doing. And we need to get away from that again. So, yeah. Who's your favorite real celebrity? Who's your favorite, person adding something to the wealth of the world? And that does not mean someone like Paris Hilton. And those are the kinds of responses that, show your hat, as it were. Okay, so updates. I am plugging away, finishing this. The last few pages to do now, and then we've got. I've got over the holidays. I completely formatted the Stream of Conceit in this book, so that's ready to go too. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to release this on my Patreon account for the 6,000 people I have lined up for that. So with that in mind, I've got some thoughts. Oh Lord, he's gonna have some thoughts. Look out. So one of the things that I've been thinking about is this. With all of this nonsense about people carrying on afraid the robots are going to replace them. My same viewpoint exists as it's always existed. If you're able to complain and carry on about somebody taking over what you do, whether it's somebody from somewhere else, whether it's anything that challenges your identifiable, I got everything banked on this. If you're easily replicated by something else so readily, whether it's undertrained, undereducated, artificially constructed, somebody that may have more merit to the task at hand, but hasn't been able to get into said task at hand because of the lockup of an industry by certain people. If any of those things are strong enough to challenge what it is that you do, the problem isn't inherently what it is that you do. It's the fact that the expectation is entirely laid on that one thing. And while that sounds really argumentative, because it is, what I'm trying to get to is that's not the thing to value. That's not the thing that counts. What counts is you and what it is that you do. And if you're somebody that wants to stand up right now on a soapbox and get all rallied and concerned over whatever your specific issue is, whether it's, robots taking over, or if it's, other people taking jobs, or any of those things, I think we've got to reevaluate ourselves. It's not fair. It isn't. That's never been fair. And not only is it not fair, it's always been stacked against you specifically in the first place. And carrying on about it, doing videos about it, talking to your echo chamber of people that are going to concur with you on the same thing because it affects them in the same way, isn't going to change it. What's going to change it, Chris? Boy, am I glad you asked. Open revolution. That's it. Sure. Some things are inevitable. Some things are going to happen. Think of all the travel agents right now that have been quietly disappearing. Think about all the furriers that no longer are, employed in their industry of choice. Furriers, travel agents, yeah, those are relevant, but they are, because anything that we have heavily invested in one specific thing per se, we've got to figure out ways to diversify what it is that we do and how it is that we define our outputs, whether that's in life or if it's specifically in our employment pursuits or whatever it is. If you're banking on spending all your time drawing comics and you're not working for a publisher that oversees your work getting out into the hands of the public, then I think that this is a healthy reality check. Because if your basis, is it? Yeah, sorry, my thing's sliding. If your basis of economics is as an independent person doing whatever it is entirely on your own, well, that has a limited amount of growth potential anyways. That has a limited amount of self-accommodation. You have to work with some kind of larger distribution publishing venture. You have to, if you're going to have a real subsistence from it, if you're going to have a real income from it. And you have to, and I mean a real one. I don't mean small independent like the thing that I started here in London, Ontario, where we're just trying to publish people so that they can use that opportunity to go out and get discovered. You can't have naivete about that. And at the same time, if you're going to, your whole thing is about your monetization of your artificial social construct, which is what this social media is. This isn't a sustainable means to an end either. And if your whole thing is, let me show you how to draw this, or even worse, these artist guys online that say, let me show you how so-and-so is doing it wrong. Those people should be, lined up and spanked. It's not sustainable, and it's not going to make you happy. You got to find a way to make your income. If you can make it just doing artwork, grand. But the realization of that is incredibly challenging. You're going to have to be able to do whatever it is that you can accommodate your livelihood. And that's it. And I realize that people are going to argue against that and say, yeah, well, I've done, great, you're an exception to a rule. But the reality for most people is not that. And I don't want to fill anybody full of baloney and false ideas that in order for you to make a living doing this, here's what you got to do. It's not going to work. Because what worked for Bob is not going to work for Larry. And what worked for Linda isn't going to work for Jane. Just because it isn't. There's very specific things that happen in Bob's life, and there's very specific things that happen in Linda's life that aren't going to necessarily help Larry and Jane because they don't have maybe those connections or the economics or the luck of being in the right place at the right time. So listening to pseudo-celebrities that talk about how the world should change or how you can make a career and survive a lot of what they've done, well, what they did is specific to their story. So what you need to do for you is to find your sense of fulfillment, your sense of self, and your sense of expression and creativity, and whatever way that you can do so that suits you. But in the meantime, you might have to work at someplace else or do something else, whether it's working in graphic design, working at I don't care what the other job is. I really don't. Work as an accountant, work as a short order cook, do whatever it is. What's up? Yeah, just come sit down. Whatever it is that you need to do to accommodate your lifestyle and that of you and your family. And there's no shame in that. And the people that put shame to that on other people are disingenuous. And it may very well have something to do with their own insecurity that they look at social tiers of, well, I just do this. Well, congratulations. You have a very specific. Let me move that here. Sorry, Corbin's here. Okay, settle down. Those people have a very specific set of variables that allows them to do so. And that's well and good and fine. But it's not what's going to work for you. What's going to work for you is hard work and discipline and practicing and being honest and being genuine and being the authentic you. And don't compare yourself to Bob, Larry, Linda, whatever the names I came up with a moment ago there at the top of my head. Because you're not Bob, Mary, Jane, Linda, Cecil, Poindexter, Tanya. Allow yourself that. Because I think what I'm more excited about people doing is the things that are very specifically their expression, very specifically the stories that they have to tell and the things that they want to do. And if you're doing those things, hey, let us know. Let me know. Put it in the comments. I'm working on this. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. Because that to me is I see you. That to me is far more exciting. Honestly, far, far more exciting than what the showboat's doing. I don't care what it's that dipstick starts with a K. Kanye. I don't care what that one's doing. I don't care what any of them are doing. I don't care with, somebody who's, I got my drawing channel. This is what I talk about. I don't care. If you have some interesting discourse on ways to help people improve what it is that they're doing, yep, good. But if it's just an opinion piece, if it's just a let me tell you my perspective on how things are and how things should go. Yeah. No time. Got to pursue your own specific exploration of expression. That's what counts. I put my ruler somewhere. Hey. So I changed up the studio space. I don't know if you can tell that, but I cleaned my desk up. Finally. I figured since we're moving into the future, I should do that. So I did. And yeah, feeling good about it. Got some stuff to deliver this week to a bunch of people. A couple of them from before the holidays. Just couldn't get it linked up, and I want to respect people's time and space over the holidays. But the holidays is over, so let's get these projects out there. Anybody that's supported the last Kickstarter that I illustrated, I appreciate that mucho macho, and the publisher appreciates it mucho macho, and I hope that those things have got to you now. But if they have not, we will make sure that they do so. I will make sure that they do so. I'm trying to jump in and help out, but I think they have at least made it on their way. So that's one of the nice things about not having to be in the captain seat for a project like that, is that I don't have to oversee all of that stuff. When you work with somebody else, they for their firm, that they get to take care of that stuff. Yes, Corbin. Hey, it's 3023. So we're going to get a first top of the year appearance by this bozo. Hello, I'm a bozo. Oh, look at me. Meow, meow, meow. All right. You got that out of your system? Are we all right now? Now that there's hair floating through the air. Black pants. Anyways. Yeah, so the celebrities that we haven't lost, these people that continue to perpetuate this advice and these suggestions, these things of, here's how to do it, and this is the way to get in the thing. Okay, enough. It's not helping them. It's not helping folks. You're going to have to hustle. You're going to have to get out there and hustle. That's it. It's the bottom line. Let go of celebrity that has any meaning to you other than to celebrate somebody that does something truly interesting. Encourage those people and celebrate that. Look up people that inform, actually accomplish something outside of just, thinking they have something to say on politics because they're in a Hollywood film, or make music and think that they demand your social time, your media time. Let all that go and get to work. Stop celebrating that, because that's all this is. That's all those folks are. So I'm really excited when people send me stuff. I am not the best for answering emails immediately, and I'm never going to be. But I'm excited when people send me whatever they're working on. As soon as I get an opportunity, I'll look at it. And I've been excited over the holiday. I worked out something to, a project that I got coming up in the new year with somebody. And unfortunately, the end of the year, another project that I had set up with somebody else has, that we were developing something for me to do, has very publicly not been made to not be able to happen. And that's very disappointing. And yet, my world isn't ending, because what I'm doing anyways. So, you can't spend all your time and energy waiting for this thing to happen, or waiting for this perspective from entirely dependent upon someone else. Just can't do it. It's not how it works. You got stuff to do. You got to get working on your projects. You got to get doing whatever you do. And let the rest of it go. I've noticed. I find that after my wife and I watch something, we might. There's either one of two things that happens. There's a specific. Yes, I know you're there. There's a specific turning point halfway through a thing or a few episodes into a project where we're like, this is just not landing, and we'll assess how long it is, and if we're going to continue even bother watching this, or we'll see if we'll actually look at some larger perspective on it and reviews and stuff from a number of others, and if it's overwhelming media praise, it counts for nothing, in my opinion, because half of that's bought and sold. But if it has a lot of people going, why did I spend this time on this? That's, that allows us the facility to say it really isn't going to improve. I don't care who it's by. I don't care what the project is. If you're not feeling it, you don't have to like it. We really enjoy, like Rainn Wilson. I really enjoy Rainn Wilson's films. I've been watching him since the start of his large release career. Love Brick, and The Last Jedi is the last good Star Wars film. And Knives Out was a phenomenal film, but we watched his sequel over the holidays, and it just wasn't. There was nothing remarkable about that film. And sometimes people are just excited for something to be something, and it's not. Glass Onion's not a great project. Not in the level that Knives Out was. How do you follow Knives Out? You got to left turn it. You got to go a completely different direction. And instead of reiterating the same foundation, large cast, murder, whodunit, but with even worse characters, diving deeper into the well of, didn't work. Just made you contemptuous of everybody and not want to complete it. You got to have somebody in a project that's redeeming and motivates you to continue without it just being member berries. It's the only reason that, the Marvel universe and the Star Wars universe is where it's at. The Star Trek universe is where it's at, because, oh, look, he's going to do the thing. There's good projects and bad projects and everything. So, yeah, whatever it is you're working on, it's going to be yours. It's going to be the authentic voice of your creativity, and you're going to put it out, and people are looking forward to seeing it and are going to like it. But you don't need to spend your time, talking about, oh, this creator did this and this one did this, and just get on with doing what you do. Let's focus on what others have done and what others, you can appreciate and support the thing that others are doing. But I've been noticing a ton of people doing cool drawings of Stan Lee to celebrate what would have been his 100th birthday. Why? I don't get that. But, whatever. People are going to do as people are going to do. But it's just, and it's a very personal thing, this adulation. It's a very personal thing, this appreciation of people that others want to look up to. So that's fine. It's a very self-invested situation. I get that. But not when everybody's doing it. Where's all the love of guys like Bill Gates? If you don't know who Bill Gates is, but you're sitting here on a soapbox celebrating Stan Lee, geez, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just going to say whatever I say anymore. I don't care. I used to try to, hey, tame it up. Tame it up. Maybe more people will, whatever. I don't care. Everybody wants to listen to my podcast. Podcast is just about whatever. It's as tongue-in-cheek as my last title was. Nobody wants to listen to my podcast. Because I'm trying to show the same level of ambivalence I have about either way. The joke was that no, sorry, I'm just getting a message in. Sorry about that. Yeah. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. The new name, everybody wants to listen to my podcast, as opposed to last year's name. No one wants to listen to my podcast. The reason that I've changed the new name to the new name is that it's a new year. So, hey, we're going to switch it up. I don't know what I'll call it. Next year, I'll call it, I don't know, your mom wants to listen to my podcast, or whatever. Your mom likes to listen to it. Doesn't matter. The whole point is, I'm just sitting here talking while working and while drawing. And I'm curious if anybody does watch this, what they're doing, so that we can celebrate and encourage one another. And I would really like to celebrate and encourage you. But my whole world is not dependent on approval or anything like that to do what I'm doing. You just gotta be who you are, the authentic you, and do what you're doing because you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for others, and you're not doing it with the necessity of acceptance by others. None of that should matter. All it should matter is, I'm doing it because it's something that is necessary to me. I don't care what celebrity opinions are on it. I don't need to express the same junk that the herd expresses. Do I really need to celebrate Stan Lee? Is that going to do anything in this world other than socially conforming to the Stan Lee? Oh yeah, Stan Lee, right? It's just a guy. Did some stuff. A lot of other people have done stuff too. Just as much stuff. Why aren't people celebrating Mort Weisinger's birthday? Remember Mort Weisinger? No. Bill Gaines? Let's have Paul Levitt's Day. He's still here. Let's have Keith Giffen Day. There's a good writer. Keith Giffen's birthday was December 30th. Because there's a creator I like, and I just happened to be reading an interview and came across that date. That's it. That's my alarm system to remind myself to do things. I've already done that thing. So, ha ha ha, alarm. I really don't have any interest in whatever's going on with Todd McFarlane or Spawn. And as much as a lot of people do have big associations with Todd McFarlane and Spawn because of being kids in the 90s, there's a lot of more interesting stuff out there in the world to me, even in the same genre that Spawn operates in. From a comic perspective, I think that there's many more things that I personally would rather read. And I find that a lot of people that read Spawn tend not to read other things. And that to me is a little tragic. It's like the only books you read is Stephen King. Stephen King's just a guy. There's lots of interesting writers that are out there doing similar stuff. There's your surface aesthetic of things. Oh, I'm a big fantasy fan. I read Lord of the Rings. There's a Canadian writer named P.L. Stewart you should read. There's a good writer. The opportunity to meet P.L. Stewart. Who's that? Well, look it up. My point is there's more out there in the world than just that. Okay, so I drew the foreground just so that I know where the first character is. That's the lead, right? And now I'm drawing the secondary character that's following in behind. Now I'm reducing the scale, and I'm taking my initial scribble here. So this is our foreground guy right here, and then this is our background guy right here. So now I'm going to put in our background guy, and I'm just going to rough it in really, really loosely, really lightly. Try not to do that too much on finished pages because I'm not inking, because I'm just doing these pencils and then translating those into the inks through Photoshop. I got to keep my pencils fairly tight so I don't have a lot of editing to have to do in a computer. Yeah. Is there any celebrities you're fed up with? You know, is there anybody who you've just, you're at this point where, you know, I'm tired of the Oscars or whatever the awards are that Ricky Gervais goes on and tries to reality check the narcissism of the crowd, the self-congratulatory crowd. Yet these bozos still have him come back again? Or are you tired of Ricky Gervais for spoiling the hero worship, the adulation of celebrity, of film? Do you think that what he's done is inappropriate? See, I'm curious about how people are with these sorts of things. And if you do like those things or don't like those things, why? Does it matter that, you know, so-and-so has made X amount of gross dollars as a motion picture person when we have people that can't get a basic living wage? I personally find that offensive, but, you know, people seem to think that, well, Marvel actors should be paid what Marvel actors are paid because whatever. Don't tell me other people can't do that. It's a challenging thing, I realize, but it's a thing. You know, why are we thinking that there's connectivity to those people? Why are we thinking that there's some relatableness to somebody who has such a disconnect to how most people live? When you've got the levels of economic disparity that are happening, in places specifically like the United States, which honestly, the levels of economic disparity in other parts of the world are far, far worse. But when you've got that level of economic disparity going on in the world, I personally don't care what Tom Cruise is doing when he's running around in his movies and all of his other ostentatious behaviors. I don't see it as something to model in our lives about, to view as any kind of accomplishment. I just don't. If people trying to climb skyscrapers, run up the sides of skyscrapers, was an active thing that other people were engaged in doing, maybe. But if people are celebrating a dipstick narcissist movie actor because he's done something like that, as though he has accomplished something, he hasn't. He's not. He's accomplished nothing. He's done some ostentatious thing for a blow-up movie that's already disconnected from reality. On what grounds does that have any real legitimacy as a thing to praise? Just trying to think about the wheel here. Probably be, yeah. Whoops, way too high. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I know people that spend thousands of dollars every year to go and visit Disney World. That's their thing. Power to them. You spend thousands of dollars and go to this place that's entirely based on wanting your thousands of dollars. Go, get your things and bring them home. Have those positive memories. I got no problem with that. But I don't personally quite get that, but yeah, it'd be neat to go and see the place that they've recreated part of Star Wars at, but thousands of dollars. What could you have done with those thousands of dollars? And if you've got accommodation that those thousands of dollars have no real impact on your life, well, congratulations. You do you. Trying the forks of the bike. I just don't personally see it. I just don't personally get what the allure is. I don't. It's just not my bag. And the same thing applies to, hero worship of creative types. They're just people. I've met a few different creators, and they're different kinds of people. There's some good ones. There's some kind of really lame ones. It's too bad, but it's just what it is. And what I can't do is celebrate somebody I've not personally met, right? It's kind of weird to me. It just comes off as one of those things that takes you away from your own time to pursue the thing that is going to fulfill you and to pursue the thing that is going to, there we go, to pursue the creative expression, to pursue the different avenues that you might find for, a sense of self-assessment from. And you're never going to do that keeping up with the Joneses. Never. You're never going to do that worrying about whether you have Gwyneth Paltrow's soap or whatever the hell that nonsensical person sells. If you want to define yourself by your celebration of the things that you enjoy, that's great. Do it. But think about the rewards you'd get for pursuing the things that, would help to express more about who you are to the world. Whether that's, I like cooking, or I like running. I'm going to do some running competitions because I like the sense of camaraderie, or I'm going to do making some pictures or making some music, or trying to tell some stories in film, or I'm going to sing in the local choir, or I'm going to, speak in a church, or, whatever. Read the stories that I've written to other people, or build a cool shed in my backyard. Even if it's a shed from a kit, that's your shed. You built it. Good for you. But that's what I want to see people celebrating more of. That's what I want to see. Not what unreal people are celebrating. I always advocate that people vote for me in the little preamble that, or whatever that material is that is underneath the videos, or in the ephemera that comes along with whatever these videos are on the social platforms. I always say, vote for me or my cat in the upcoming Canadian election, because why not? Why is my cat any less, something to vote for? It's just as much for people as the others do. I don't see politicians as celebrities. I don't see business people as celebrities. I see them as successful adapters, but I don't celebrate that stuff. I don't care. I like to see people that are happy, genuinely found some kind of happiness in being who they are and expressing who they are. Pursue that. That's what my advice is for 2023, or whatever year this is. Pursue that. Pursue you. Huh? Yeah. This is a crazy angle to try to draw this at. Now, I made a mistake earlier on a previous page. I drew one of the kids having a left-sided bike and the other kid having a right-sided bike. I don't know why I did, but I did. So now I need to maintain this. tricky, this world. We want to celebrate the things that others are celebrating. We want to join. We want to be a part of it. We desperately need those connections. We're social creatures. I get it. But not if it comes at the cost of celebrating you. And while that may sound very narcissistic, what I'm trying to specifically relate that to is don't forget to appreciate you, who you are, what you're accomplishing, what you're trying to do and express and be who you are. Just don't forget that. Because people need to see those things. People need to know that about you. But it's honest. And honesty at the end of the day is better. Don't worry about painting like another artist that you like. Oh, that's cool. I want to do that. Well, neat. Why don't you try doing you? This is a tricky perspective I'm putting down here. Not the one that I'm espousing. That's just some, confrontational things I espouse to some, but I'm not advocating. I'm not suggesting you're stupid, and I'm not suggesting, anything demonstrative towards you. I'm not diminishing what your interest is. I might express that I don't understand it personally, but that doesn't mean I'm dismissing it out of hand. You want to go to Disney however many times a year, do it. Do it. Why wouldn't you do it? But what else do you do that defines your enjoyment on this old mortal coil? I'd be far more interested in that than hearing about your Disney trip. Again, one of the kids got long pants, one kid's got short pants. I got to remember that now. This is long pants. Anyways, this is my blab. I'm probably going to annoy somebody with what I've said, but most people don't listen to what other people are saying anyways. They'd sooner, look for something argumentative, some celebrity is whatnot. I think that to clarify my point, it's not that I want to hurt anybody or I want to see anybody hurt or I hope that people die. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I think we need to redefine celebrities. Neil deGrasse Tyson's a great speaker and a great orator, but there's probably a great deal of scientists that have some really fantastic and interesting things to say that we're not hearing because it's just easier to get Neil deGrasse Tyson on a show. And maybe we need to reevaluate that. Maybe we need to spend less time listening to ancient aliens and legitimizing that. And maybe spend a little more time actually learning about some of the archaeologists and some of the people that are actually investigating, digging these sites, doing the tests, the studies to try to figure out age of locations, historical artifacts and facts about specific locations, rather than trying to find Atlantis, trying to find a secret treasure on Oak Island. Maybe we need to look for living artists and try to be supportive of them, rather than just jumping on a bandwagon, reading yet another regurgitated, take on Spider-Man by an artist that's art style is entirely based on another creator that isn't getting that work now because this person draws so much like him that they don't need to pay the rate for that guy. Or let's have small companies go into millions of dollars of debt, Chapter 11 out, and have all of the creators that spend all of their hard-won time and efforts trying to draw and write material for these people's characters to not get paid. That's not fair. We're celebrating the wrong thing here. Compared to that, how about the hardship that all those people are facing from the collapse of these two companies over the holidays? Why aren't people posting more about that? But these people have all been having their lives jeopardized by this company going bankrupt, and they're the ones at a loss. They're the ones not getting paid. All that time and effort and creativity out the window. Contractually thrown to the wind because of bankruptcy. Dead projects now. Nope, let's celebrate a dead person's non-100th year birthday. They didn't make it to 100. Support creators is what I'm saying. Support those independents. Support the channels where people are legitimately doing neat things and doing neat investigations and trying to tell cool things and celebrate cool stuff and real critical examination of things. Not the corporate paid for things, not the corporate paid for websites. That's pointless. Okay, here's the two boys with their bicycles. So now I'm just going to put them in the context of a forested area here. Similar as how I've done it in the previous pages. So. There we go. Like this. That's what I'm pursuing. So that's going to be my big bent this year, is to try to advocate people celebrating themselves. People trying to celebrate the things that they're doing. That's a big thing for me. I would like to see you look at yourself and what your outputs are and what it is that you're doing and say, yeah, this is more important than hero worshiping other people. This is more of a thing to invest my energy in than, liking and commenting on whatever celebrity has 20,000 views of whatever nonsense they're doing. That's all well and great, but doesn't that feel a little hollow? It's not, you're not really voicing your opinion to anything more than an algorithm. You're not really having anything to say to anything larger than, yeah, I'm one of the group. They're not going to get that feedback, not in any sort of constructive way. Take that time and figure out what it is that you have to say. Figure out what it is that you want to celebrate, what it is that you want to express. Stop following stupid people. Stop jumping on bandwagons of, look at the wherefores and whys of what it is that you like and capitalize on those things. Engage in them. Don't just adulate. Don't idolize. You find that in those actions, you're going to more intrinsically define yourself in a much more strong way. You're going to more specifically find your own voice, whether it's because some of these things that you are celebrating these people for are things that you want to do. Do them. Do them. They're going to be hard, and you're not going to be very good initially. Maybe you are. Maybe you'll be really prodigious at it, but I don't know. You're never going to know either unless you do it. But you're not going to do it by, oh, Stan Lee didn't care about you. They didn't know you. It's not to say that to dismiss people out of turn. It's in the sense that, they're bad people, that they don't know who you are. They just don't know who you are. And it's not going to make any change to how many likes for whatever ridiculous thing and how much publicity some kind of dipstick like Kanye gets. Oh, he's a musical. Well, I don't care. I really don't care. You like his music, like his music. Maybe, make some music. But if he's known for his music, why are you listening to what he says? If it's not to do specifically with that, it does not matter. And it doesn't matter to anybody else that doesn't listen to his music. I like Wagner. I did not like Wagner, what Wagner stood for as a person. I do not like what Wagner stood for as a person. But I like, the Ring of the Nibelungs, operas. Those are fantastic. There's a wonderful adaptation of them by a number of different artists. I mean, I think Gail Kane did some, P. Craig Russell did some. There's been lots of different adaptations of those. Celebrate that. Enjoy that for yourself, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to. I don't know these creators, and I don't know what their lives were, or their lifestyles are, or their ideologies. It should not matter. It shouldn't matter. I don't care what Joe Rogan has to say. Just, but if your thing is Joe Rogan, enjoy your thing. But whatever it is he's got in his show, I'd look into it a little further. Learn about these things that are being spoke about more so than just this surface cursory examination. Embrace the things you enjoy. Deep dive in them. I think we're missing that right now. I think we're not doing that enough. Oh, today's musical selection, I'm listening to the Front Bottoms. Great name. Great band. Very talented. I don't know anything about them. I don't care. I like the songs. I had a friend growing up, always listened to the weirdest stuff. You know, always listening to outliers. Always. He's the guy that, you know, he discovered Stardust Cowboy. Well, everybody else was just listening to David Bowie. And he's the guy that listened to They Might Be Giants first. You know, he's the guy that introduced, you know, me to Sugar Cubes and Bjork. You know, just before they hit as a band, and then eventually, of course, she went off to do her own thing. There's always that person that can do that can discover those key things of interest, and I think it has an awful lot to say and to be celebrated about. If this person's interest is this kind of thing, they're diving deep into it and really learning about it, and I think that's wonderful. I really do. I think that that's very encouraging. If you like this writer, you know, enjoy their writing. There's some benefit to not learning about them, because what it is that you appreciate and enjoy about what they do, that's the thing. It's not them. If you only like their writing because of them, I don't know. Maybe you need to look a little deeper into that one. But you know, it's nice when you meet them and they're actually nice people. I grew up, my mother listening to Burton Cummings, you know, from the Guess Who. The Guess Who guys, Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman. And of course, I can't remember the other guys because so much emphasis was put on those two. Well, you know, I listened to that music as a kid, introduced by my parents. But, you know, I still enjoyed it to some extent. Well, years later, I got to meet Burton Cummings at my job, and he came in, and genuinely nice person. But it was just nice to, you know, to talk to him. I didn't actually realize it was him when he first walked in the door. You know, just a nice guy. Now, maybe other people have had bad experiences with him. But, you know, I thought he was an okay person. It's not about the fact that he's whatever he is. Years later, after the stuff that my mother listened to, is the time that I met him. So he looked nothing like his record covers. He looked like a much older version of himself. And he was there. I worked in a comic store. He was there to buy some comics. And he was there to buy some comics to cut up and make buttons out of. Because he likes buttons. That's great. Man, do I like that. Honest. It's honest. Celebrate that. He's a button guy. He takes the stuff that he finds in books and makes buttons out of those and puts little text on it himself or paints them or whatever he does and puts them in his button maker and look, do cool buttons. Awesome. from the perspective of, person that promotes and sells and creates books, the idea of cutting up those books, you can look at it in two perspectives. Is that he reads the books first. He does collect books, but then he also buys copies of things so that he can make cool buttons to celebrate those things that he enjoys. That's it, folks. That's where it counts. That's how you celebrate. Not listening to political advice from Jack Black. Jack Black's funny. He has the ability to turn into a panda. But I don't care for his political opinion. I don't even know if he has one. He's a Hollywood celebrity. Just a person. Kyle Gass is really talented. Kyle Gass is Jack's musician partner for the band Tenacious D. Kyle Gass, I follow him because he has these beautiful little guitar pieces. He's been doing them all through the holidays, playing beautiful little Christmas songs acoustically on his guitar. And I just enjoy listening to that. Doesn't have anything to say. Doesn't have any agenda. Isn't promoting any projects. Just playing some nice Christmas carols. And that's what I want to listen to. I'm curious to see what else he plays throughout the year too. King. What? Yeah, okay. Well, this panel's coming together. We've got the two characters in it. I've got the trees and such going in now. I'm feeling good about it, but I'm going to take a little break here. I will be back today at 2:00 with the next podcast from our fancy new show. Everyone wants to listen to my podcast. If you look closely in the logo, you'll see there's other things there too. But, yeah. Have fun. Have a good lunch. Thanks to anybody that dropped in for a moment. We'll be right back. Going to continue working on this. And feel free to jump in and join in. We've also got the London Comic Jam happening next week in London at the Arts Project. Please come out to that. January 9th, the Arts Project, downtown London, Ontario, 6 to 9 p.m. All right, Corbin. All right, it's Corbin's lunchtime. We'll talk to you this afternoon, 2:00. Hope you tune in. Thanks very much for hanging out. Bye for now.